I'm Suzanne Wilkins, and I'm the Head of Sensory Services in Kent. We're using the OLT training courses to provide a different way in which schools, either for their teaching professionals or for their teaching assistants, to access training. We already run courses that are reasonably well attended, but we wanted a different opportunity. And it's also been possible for other professionals to access the courses. So we have had speech and language therapists, and we also have had practitioners from early years settings accessing the training. I think initially staff were quite reluctant because they saw it as something extra that they had to do on top of the usual job. But looking at it from a strategic point of view, it is only a short block, but that short block of time is repeated on a number of occasions, and so it depends on your attitude as to how you want to empower other people within the children's workforce, and sometimes not necessarily professionals that you're working with. So it has a wider remit, but we have been slow as an authority taking it up. So a gradual start, I would say, is probably a good way of looking at it, but we're now trying to focus down on each of the districts within Kent. So we have 12 districts, and we're approaching this through local meetings for SENCOs and early years SENCOs to try and provide that opportunity.
My name's Jane Cottle. I'm the Kent County Coordinator for Visual Impairment and Multisensory Impairment. So I work across the whole of the County of Kent with a team of teachers who are VI teachers, MSI teachers, and also VI and MSI support workers. I think we've used it in a variety of different ways. A way in which we have thought about using it just this week has been that we've got a blind student who is moving from primary school to secondary school, and we are starting the transition process. And when we had our first transition meeting with the secondary school, where the staff were quite anxious about the prospect of taking a blind student on, and said, how can we access training? And straight away we were able to say, this is the first thing you can do. We will offer you bespoke training, but just before you start, your staff might like to join the online course so that they've got a little bit of background before they have specific training about that student. We have students who are doing the mandatory training course, and we've used it as a pre-course, if you like, so that when we knew that they were going to be doing the course, the mandatory training course, we used the online course as a pre-starter. And invariably all of them have said that when they actually started doing the mandatory training, they didn't feel as if it was all new. They felt that they'd actually got some understanding of the terminology and some of the things that they felt they were one up on the other students on the course. I think it does, yes. It gives you the opportunity to look particularly at some of the forums and see whether you think people are heading in the right direction, how well they've actually understood what they've been learning on the course. And sometimes people understand well, sometimes people understand not so well, but you can pick out the things that they've actually understood well and encourage them with those things. And then you can say, but have you also thought of, or perhaps you might like to look at, and you can direct them to a particular case study or a video or something like that. So as far as the mentoring role is concerned, I think it's a really valuable part of the course. I think the most useful thing has been, from my point of view, the fact that I can dip back into the course, and also from some of my colleagues who are trained VI teachers who will sometimes pop back in to refresh themselves on areas and to keep up to date with things. I think it's useful for the schools and the other people who are taking the course, because they may take it initially because they have one child coming into their school with a particular eye condition, and then 1 or 2 years down the line they have another child come in who's completely different, and then they can go back and focus on the bits of the course that perhaps were not so relevant for them the first time round. So having the length of time that you can access it is really, really useful.